Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wonderful Tuesday. Here it's raining, but eh. Borderlands 2 has been released. I'm very happy. I managed to play it for about 7 hours. Fell asleep at one point, had to go to class. So that was interesting. But I like to talk about the game. Typically with a sequel, you want to do a couple liner things. You want to make it look a little bit better. You want to make the play, if there was any little chinks, you want to really get them out. You want to add new things, little things, and big things. The little things which people who played the game will notice, especially the first one, and big things which, if you have a general idea, you've heard about it, maybe you played it for a couple hours with a friend, stuff that you'll go, wow, that's very cool and new. And with all sequels, just one or two things that just sort of maybe rubs you the wrong way. That just happens. The sequel I'm talking about, of course, is Borderlands 2, the game that came out last night, about 15 hours ago. I'm so enthralled with it. I played Axton, the commando, who has the turret just like Roland did, and I like it. It feels good. It sort of is an evolution over Roland's turret. Roland's turret felt sort of weak at the beginning, but as you upgraded it, it got better. This feels just like that, but even more so to a greater extent. Like, when you're on the weaker spectrum, you're weaker. When you're on the more powerful spectrum, you're more powerful. And when I talk about, like, new little things, there's something they added in this game which I absolutely love. It's a trend I hope appears more in games, and it's something that I saw in Mass Effect 3 that has appeared in this game. And it's called the badass ranking. They like that word with Borderlands. The badass ranking is associated with challenges. If you remember Borderlands 1, you had like the 12 Days of Pandora, kill 250 skags, get 1,000 assault rifle kills, etc. These continue over. But instead of being boosts to experience, they boost your badass rank. And when you advance enough in a badass rank, you get a token. And this token you can apply to your character to increase damage, to increase gun accuracy, to increase elemental damage, to decrease the time before your shield recharges. So it allows you, as you play your character, gaining the skills that you want, to even further specialize your character. Considering a playstyle, I went with gun damage, reload speed, recoil reduction, stuff like that. Stuff that really helps me as the commando just deal damage. But as with all sequels, like I said, there are some things that they change that sort of maybe rubs you the wrong way. For vehicles, as an example, they changed something about them. Not how they handle fine, just like the old ones, crazily. They even shake, and the guns feel more machine gunny. But they changed how the controls work, which is kind of weird. You don't press Y to swap seats, you press A. And you don't get out with X, you get out with B. I guess they wanted to spread out the buttons and stuff like that, but, who knows? But when I talk about big change, sometimes a big change can be something little that you don't notice, but ends up becoming big. They changed something about how looting works. Instead of having to press X or hold X if you're on an Xbox, to pick up loot, specifically money, if you're in combat, you'll automatically pick up dollars that drop. Which you might go, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal beforehand. But as you play through, you realize, wow, that takes out a little bit of this game that I had to spend this time to gather this money. Now I can just go through and just automatically collect it. And they do the same thing with health vials. And I appreciate that. I genuinely do. Gearbox has taken this game to the next level. There was still doubt out there that the game was just going to be a $60 DLC. And I'm shocked to hear that from someone. The art style of the guns, every single manufacturer is completely different in terms of the skins that they use, in terms of like magazines. Bandit pistols look absolutely amazing with the drum magazines you can put on those things. They look sick. And loot got crazier. In Borderlands 1, you probably didn't find like more than 20 guns within the first 30 minutes. I found 20 guns in like 5 minutes. So they really put the focus on loot in this game. They really did. And they added more loot. They added character skins and vehicle skins, which back to little changes that might rub you the wrong way. You don't change your hairstyle and the secondary and tertiary colors, but maybe it just makes it easier. And I love how they appreciated people who played the first game. They gave you a skin per character. I'm currently rolling around like a Crimson Lance soldier, which is nice. And speaking of the Crimson Lance, one of the main characters in Borderlands 1, Roland, former member of the Crimson Lance, as the events of Borderlands 2 transpire, the in-between, I should say, he ends up founding a group of people that are former Crimson Lance that are now good people. So, a couple years ago you were dodging bullets from them, now you're helping them. Which is interesting. And the game itself recognizes its own ludicrousness. The new use stations, for example, have one phrase that after you die a couple times, they will say, don't think about the fact that you're being regenerated as a new body when your original body has already been regenerated several times. Which is way of really getting in your head and messing with you and realizing, wow, I'm not even playing myself anymore, technically. The game is a triumph, in my opinion. As a fan of Borderlands 1, I love every single aspect of Borderlands 2 as I've seen it so far. The story is something I shall cover in a later episode. Probably when I do my sort of 1 week wrap-up. It pains me to think that somebody doesn't want to get this game because they think it isn't worth the money value. It, in my opinion, totally is. Thank you very much for checking out today's video. Expect a sort of a wrap-up come 1 week later when I finish the story, whichever comes first. But nonetheless, thank you very much, and goodbye.